Morning all, how you doing? It's Andy Cunningham, Syngenta trialist. It is the 8th of July and it's a glorious day. You find me at the Ryegrass focus site near Doncaster and you're probably thinking, why is he all dressed up? Are you thinking that? Anyway, I did that because I'm presenting some data for you and I thought I'll try and look a bit more presentable for you, so hopefully you appreciate that. But yeah, there's three main points I want to talk you through today. One is how good hybrid barley looks at this site. Now, we've spoke as a company at length at how hybrid barley suppresses blackgrass, but we've not proven it with ryegrass, and we definitely have it this site. Now, below me here, I've got three plants, three ryegrass plants, should I say, from each respective crop type we have here. So that's winter wheat, conventional barley, and hybrid barley. This is the winter wheat plant, as in the ryegrass, and conventional barley. Now, I've done 20 random plants from each crop type and proven that there's no difference between the plants taken from winter wheat or conventional barley. If you take into account the hybrid barley plant, hopefully you can see straight away the reduction in the amount of tillers. And in fact, there's 20 to 25% reduction in tillers just by the hybrid barley alone. Now, the other aspect I need you to understand is where them ryegrass plants are positioned, as opposed to are they above or below the canopy of the crop. And that's important because I've been seeing with the heads that are below the canopy, we're getting a 30% reduction in the seeds per head. Now, got to stick with me on this. With the hybrid barley, you're getting 20% of them heads of these ryegrass plants, granted you've got less tillers as well, are below the canopy. So hopefully you can understand the potential reduction in seed return to the floor. With the conventional barley, 3% of these heads are below the canopy of the crop, which is better than no percent, obviously. We had nothing with the winter wheat. Now, I did the math at home. Now, you're going to have to trust me on this because until I've combined it, I can't tell for sure. But the potential seed return over winter wheat, because we're assuming the maximum seed return with the winter wheat because there's no heads below the crop, that's where the majority of the heads were. We're seeing a 65% reduction in the potential seed return using hybrid barley over winter wheat. With the conventional barley, it's 20%, which is better than, again, no percent, but I think I'd rather, if it was me, 65% all the way. Now, it's not just about what crop type you use. Inevitably, we're going to be using a herbicide program. And for those of you, and this brings me on to my second point, those of you who turned up on the 4th of June, thanks for coming, appreciate it, will have visually seen just how much more efficacy or control we're getting using 5 litres Defy with a flufenicet-based pre-emergence program over using 4 litres Defy. Now, 5 litres is the maximum level of Defy that you can use at any one time. And we didn't see any crop effects, but we were getting an extra 30% control using that 5 litres over the 4. Okay? Then following that up with an early post-emergence treatment, and obviously we can't use Defy again because we've already used it. So using a pendimethalin and a flufenicet-based program again, you're getting up to that level of control that you want to achieve. Now, inevitably, with people who've got grass weeds, we have to think about other things in our arsenal. And when I say things, I mean spring cropping. Some people do it and we'll see the benefit, some people won't and probably don't know it. Now, at this site I looked at that and we were seeing on the untreated plots that we're seeing a 90% reduction in the level of ryegrass heads per metre squared. And that's amazing, really. That's not taking into account any herbicide at all that you might want to add on top. The issue that we have with spring barley is obviously the potential yield loss when you compare it to the winter cropping. But it's all for the greater good, isn't it? And we need to try and control the ryegrass as best we can, and that's why you use spring barley in a crop rotation. Now, the other thing that highlights, and we probably saw it on one of the first videos that we did, especially when we had James Southgate on, one of his questions was, when does the majority of ryegrass germinate? Is it in the autumn or is it in the spring? And this trial proves the majority And the answer was in the autumn, because we're seeing, like I say, that 90% reduction is just from creating that stale seed bed, and then we're just leaving whatever ryegrass comes through. It's probably at a level where you could probably rogue it. So you might not even have to have a pre-emergence or follow up with any sort of herbicide on top of that. So where does this leave me going forward at this site? There's three things I want to do. One is testing the viability of the seed prior to harvest. Obviously barley is combined before winter wheat, so especially them heads that are below the canopy, are they going to be mature enough to be viable? So I need to check the viability of the seed just prior to harvest. I'll also check its resistance status as well. Secondly, I want to look at the yield benefit. Now, regards to what herbicide program you use will dictate how much pressure of ryegrass there is, and how much ryegrass will then affect your yield return. And finally, I think I'm going to look at, I mentioned about potential seed return, looking after I've combined it, how much of that seed that will inevitably have dropped from the ryegrass in each of the plots, to see how much return has germinated afterwards. And I'd like to think the hybrid barley will be less, especially with how visually effective it looks at this site. So anyway, I'll stop going on about that. Now, after this site, I will be doing another one. I've got some ideas that I want to do, and I'll probably present them to you at my next update, so you got an idea of what I'm going to get up to anyway. But if you've got any ideas you want me to look at, then if you want to post a comment on the tweet that this video goes out on, I'll appreciate that, and if I can viably do it, then I'll have a go. But until that point, I'm gonna wish you a good harvest, fingers crossed the weather stays good, and I'll see you at the next update. So thanks for watching, cheers then, ta-da, bye bye.